Hey everyone, this is Max from Art Gem Interviews, and this week I interviewed Trap Beat Tranny, aka TBT for the Sissies. Check it out.
We in the car spitting bars with the windows tinted. Flow funky fresh, connect toothpaste minted. New money when I slide on the scene. Turn on the notifications, let me hit them catchings. Venmo ring, make my Venmo ring. Cause I need the bling. Free mind cage heart, so this bird's gotta sing. Young Tranny with the Fenny, trying to outlive this nation. Raging, trying to film my back while I'm on vacation. Are you crackers trying to pay me college or reparation? Sorry to disappoint, you just got high expectations. You got so much money, you got time to waste. I'm a beer, but your bitch with champagne dreams for taste. Red bottom energy, bottom of top. Stitches, cup stitches, we ain't giving for ops. When I'm up, these bitches stare until they faces fall off. Got Balenciaga bread with a side of green guac. Clubbing these on the ball, watch it roll like magic. Dead white dudes help me pay for new fabrics. Venmo ring, make my Venmo ring. Cause I need the bling. Free mind cage sharp, so this was gonna sing. What? Venmo ring, make my Venmo ring. Cause I need the bling. Free mind cage sharp, so this was gonna sing. Money done me, slash Treppy Tranny. Baby, black money don't grow in stolen southern trees. Strange fruit proceeds are paying all your fees. Now the world wanna act like money grew on me, so I only spend monies on groceries and smoke a tree. Dollar sign and I'm drowning in anxieties. Glass of wine and I'm stunning like a bourgeoisie. 401k and an IRA's a memory. Our generations of us love, we call that shit family. Venmo ring. Now I'ma scam you like Joanne. Cause honestly, truly, you're laughing at your man. But I think it's really funny when you drop a bitch a pan. Run it up, throw some money in the pan. Put the cash right in my hand, yo. Robin Hood done robbed the hood. He gonna jet up on the block and say he living good. Poor whites finding riches just to live in the woods. Won't even jump down to help some niggas pay for some goods. Gotta go fund me, can you go fund she? Spot me when they make a niggas funds freeze. Reimburse when I throw some to the homies. Or populate my wallet cause that Lincoln looking lonely. They scared of scans but they heisted for spices. They scared of scans but they jacked up the prices. Bringing up the billions just to bang with ISIS. Cookie games, cookie prices. Now we in a crisis. Unemployed but I work all day. Gotta crowdfund, boost shit and donate. Make money move so my niggas get paid. Then have my rap cash on mutual aid. No flex, just checks. Fuck a damn mean test. We do all this shit and we still in debt. No rest, what's next? Like what's on being flex. That's a bougie bitch to donate and they in this sex. We pass the hat like we still in church. We pass the hat and we sell our merch. We pass the hat and we open a purse. And if you act like you don't see them, bitch, you just gonna get cursed. Hope it hurts. Like when I saw how y'all did Tessica. Fuck me up cause every day I see the replica. Got Gorilla Glue burned in my retina. Would've been different if her name Jessica. Stay high, retweet, buy. Talk shit about my black trans bitches, you gon' die. There's no free money, run a game on the fly. When you realize I'll be gone with the cash, fine sign. Just make sure my shit's set right now. Do. Great, so we on the purple. It's Trap Beat Tranny, TBT for the Sissies. We here.
Hey, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So, I wanted to know, what kind of art do you make?
For sure. So I went to theater school, like that's like where my training's is in like acting technically, and like theater arts, but I do a lot more than that nowadays. I'm a lot invested in music and like starting to work my way into voiceover, and so like I kind of see myself as more generally like a recording artist, and then like also a performing artist, and that like I perform my own songs. Occasionally I still act. When I perform my own music, I like to incorporate different genres. So like, sometimes there are elements of drag, though I don't necessarily do drag a lot myself. Like I'm not a drag queen, but like I'll incorporate like things and aesthetics borrowed. Like I'll have reveals and things, or I'll do like dance, I'll have dance breaks and like do my little thing, freestyle, whatever. So yeah, I do a lot. Is what we're really getting at. I do a lot.
And why do you like to make art?
It's the thing that makes life worth living for me.
Beautiful.
Like, period. I think, I write a lot about what I'm experiencing right in front of me. Helps me process what's happening right in front of me sometimes. Other times helps me put words to things that I can't articulate unless it's through song or through its rap, or it's through rap. So, just plain and simple.
Wow. So you would say that art has an effect on the way you live your life?
Definitely. It's, I think they're explicitly linked. Like, how I'm feeling in my life is going to translate into what I'm doing in my art, and how I feel about what I'm doing in my art. Like, it's not something that I try to put too much energy into separating beyond, like, meaningful boundaries that I have within my own artistic process. That's different. But those two things are always going to be speaking to each other, at least the way that I approach making art.
And when you're approaching art, do you feel like you have a genre that you fit into? Do you feel like you are your own genre?
I feel more like genre's kind of dead. Like, it's not a revolutionary thing to say. We have, like, definitely artists in the mainstream who thrive off of that idea. I'm not going to name them because you know who they are. But I feel like if they can be doing that, then, like, somebody who's independent like me, I can be doing whatever the hell I want to do. And so, yeah, like, I don't think too much about genre when I create stuff. I think, like, that's something that if somebody who's reviewing my music wants to apply, they can use that lens through which to analyze my music, and that's cool. But mostly I just be writing my little raps. That's it.
And what do you see in other people's work that interests you? Where do you look for inspiration?
I look more inward than I tend to look outward, right? I think there's so many different parts of myself that I can mine from to find different sources of creativity just within me. But I also think that, like, I don't think about celebrities or, like, big names when we talk about, like, influences or inspirations, because that's just, like, a way to reduce me by putting me in a canon with other folks who have far more resources than I do. So what's the point of the comparison? It's just violence. So I actually say that my biggest musical resource, but also my biggest inspiration is my mama. Like, straight up. She's a singer-songwriter. She started in poetry just like I did. She's not been able to have this be a thing that she can do with her life. And so part of me honors her in what she wasn't able to do, but has always had the talent and the wherewithal to do by doing what I do, with her as my inspiration. So lyrics mean so much to me because she's such a strong lyricist. The fact that my music needs to make you move, that comes from my mom as well. Like, that's very, very important to how she approaches making music. And so, yeah, those two things I think kind of in tandem are what we can call my influences.
Wow, that's beautiful that you do this for your mother. That's wonderful.
My bestie.
And how many days a week do you practice?
In the way that life is explicitly tied to my art, technically every day I'm practicing, right? But also, like, what does that mean? That could mean, like, I wrote down this phrase that, like, came into my head today in my notes app. That could mean that I, like, sat down and I really was like, wait, I have an idea. Like, I'm gonna, like, write a few bars, like, just, like, some preliminary stuff, like, start sketching, like, start thinking about, like, what type of beat it would want to exist over. Sometimes that looks like I'm in a period of inspiration, and every day I'm gonna sit down and try and, like, revise, like, work on drafts of new songs, and then revise those drafts the next day, and then try something new the next day, and then revise that the next day, So it kind of just comes and goes depending on where I'm at in life. But yeah, I don't have a structure. I don't choose a structure. I don't have because I haven't found one that's meaningful for me yet.
Sure, it just kind of comes and goes. So what would you call the difference between your practices and your performances?
Perceived stakes.
Perceived stakes?
Yeah, I don't think that there's that much of a difference. Like, I learn in performance just like I learn in practice. I push myself in practice just like I push myself in performance. Like, you don't do all of your practice, like, half-assed. Like, there's no point. You're not going to be able to do it full out then when you get to this. It's just like, no. So it's like the amount of effort that you're putting in doesn't seem to be that much different, at least not for me. And the amount of focus and discipline that I'm bringing to it doesn't seem to change that much, not for me. I think it's more just about adding the element of the audience. You know, whatever they give you is what they give you, and that can do whatever that does to your performance, and you can't predict it. And also the perceived stakes, like, you know, whatever anxiety or energy comes from knowing that they're there, knowing that this is being perceived, you know, whereas like what you're doing in rehearsal is private.
And so how do you know when you're in the flow, in your zone?
Physically, it's probably like I'm pacing, or like my like legs shaking, because like I just tap my leg a lot, and I'm probably talking to myself. You know, like I'm probably literally talking out the bars and being like, oh yeah, that sounds good. You do this here and this here and this here, and then you switch it there. And ooh, like yeah, they're gonna like that. They're gonna like that. Like that's like just that kind of dialogue helps me process things a lot faster. And then like some type of emotion. Just like it literally represents the gears turning, you know, up here. And so I think those things are things that I know I'm coming up with something, cooking when that's happening.
And so, even though, you know, it can be kind of irregular when you work on your stuff, are there steps that you take every time that you go to work on your art and your music?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are the, like, you know, warming up, like, is obviously a thing that you gotta do. And so, you know, whatever warm-ups I want to do, I do before I, like, go into, like, recording. I think things get more structured once we get into, like, recording settings. Like, in the drafting process, it's chaotic. I'll just do whatever. But then when it's, like, time to sit down and record, like, I'll usually be like, okay, this is the week that I'm going to do it. I'm going to block out some time, like, during my evenings, you know, when things quiet down a little bit outside, and just sit in the room, take my little, like, screen and put it in front of underneath my loft, so that I have, like, you know, 360, like, soft goods and sound protection, and I just, like, do my thing in there, you know, after I've warmed up. And I'll usually, like, do, like, a session I know when I'm, like, I know when I'm done, you know, I have a pretty good sense of when it's just played out, and I'm like, okay, take a break. And then I have a good sense of when it's like, no, there's no more in the tank for today. We're done.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I got through everything that I wanted to do in that recording session, then cool, we got through. If not, come back at it another day that week. You know, take some time away. Think about something else. Listen to other people's music.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much. And so, are there any projects that you're currently working on? Any upcoming projects that we can look forward to?
Yeah, I've got something in the works in the music video land for sure. Some fun things. I can't talk too much about them yet, but backed by some certain grants and a certain residency, and let's just say it's some of the most funded work I've been able to do in the time of my career so far. So that's exciting. And then I'm working on a new EP. I'm here in New York now. Used to be Boston based. And I'm talking about my move. It's called Last One Out 617. Who knows? Could be coming out next year. Could be coming out the year after that. It'll come when it'll come. But it's definitely in the works. So, you know, that's what's moving and shaking for me for the time being. Anything else, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. TBT Simulator on IG. Tranny on Twitter. And, you know, it's a way to stay up to date with whatever the hell's going on. Go follow my website, trappytranny.com. Follow me on Bandcamp, trappytranny.bandcamp.com, all that shit, you know. Wow. Link dump.
We'll link that.
That's how you do.
Below.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, tune in to Art Gem Interviews.
Peace out, y'all.